Hey, this guy's fucking fearless. Let's help him out before it goes bad for him.
Despite his determination, the knight was in an awkward position. He thanks the mercenary for having assisted him in his task. If he can trust the rumors that he hears around the village, he has before him the one called Vulcan. He has the pleasure of welcoming the mercenary to the village.
And you are?
The knight is called Randval, last survivor of the Order of the Ember Knights, and now protector of Valvenor, this village. The new arrival is most welcome, but the steward is waiting in the old village inn. This is Valvenor. It is not a beautiful place, but for the time being, it seems to be unknown to the Deadwalker army. This village has known better days. Before the war, it was popular among the rich hunters who came to enjoy the ample game in the swamps. Today, the only visitors are refugees, who are sadly too numerous for the scant resources of the village. A small healing house provides comfort and succor to the injured. The knight is quite fond of Mirana, the healer who runs the place.
Siemanko, Feniks, witam.
Does the mercenary see the building opposite? It was once an inn, but it is now the residence of the steward, the man now in charge of the village.
This is a very large inn, considering the size of the village. There must have been many visitors before the war.
With any luck, we might get to sleep in a real bed tonight. How come you talk that way? Always in the third person.
The way people speak is different from one place to another, and I am from another place. The knight's people are a warrior tribe from Algandar, and he is proud of them.
Where can I find the steward?
As the knight said, the steward is in the old inn, the big building in the middle of the village.
What does the steward want with me?
The captain has offered the services of the freeborn blades to the steward. The steward must have orders for the mercenary.
Shit. I'm gonna get stuck being this guy's errand boy. Damn! I knew I should have gone with the rest of the company. What can you tell me about this backwater town?
This village is a modest one, and its reserves are almost gone. Its
Siemano,
only strength
Mariano.
is its isolation in these swamps,
Smiter.
but that is also its greatest weakness.
I already figured it was some kind of shithole.
That the refugees and the villagers must live together is difficult, and the situation is worsened by there not being enough food. The swamp offers protection
No bo
against
ten
the
dwójka to
dead
też bardzo
walkers,
fajna gra.
but it
Mi się to
also
zabi się
harbors
podoba.
many dangers. Its creatures often
Ale
attack the
Rezydentik też
village.
jest wytąga.
When the knight and the elf are not there to defend the walls, the watch often leave them unguarded. Shameless.
I'm going.
Dobra, w końcu będzie można jakieś zakupy chyba zrobić. Ja nie mam Days Gone'a, nie planuję w niego grać. Jakoś mi się nie za bardzo ta gra widzi. Teraz, panie, zbieram na tego Rezydenta 4.
It's on account of that Nigella, ain't it? I take one look at her, and suddenly it's the end of the world.
Nie, mi się jakoś nie widzi ta gra. W marcu. W marcu ma się pojawić. No to jeszcze mamy. Drinki się leją. Już chlasz? Chlasz jak Feniks? Feniks mówi, że ostatnio ciągle najebany chodzi. No tak bezimienny mówił. Ja tam nie wiem. Co tutaj jest? Otwórz, otwórz, ale otwórz co? Otwórz. Bawu, rękosen. Co my tu mamy? Gdzie tu jaki warzywniak? A to jest... Aha. A to. Tu jest jakiś kowal.
Here we go. Another one of these hick refugees. There's nothing for you here.
Ja nie wiem, co ty z tym czatem masz. A ty tylko Feniksa nie
Call
widzisz?
me a hick
Czy
one
wszystkich nie
more
widzisz?
time, and I'll be using your face as an anvil.
Let's all remain calm, shall we? Please forgive my error. With all this commotion and all the thankless tasks I find myself confronted with, I
To ja
often
nie
find
wiem.
my attention to detail slips. So, what can I do for you?
I need more info about Valvanor.
And you have decided that I have a sympathetic face. It's the story of my life. Talent worthy of a king's ransom, but surrounded by cretins who only seek that which is free.
What can you tell me about the steward?
Oh, don't expect me to say anything bad about Bertolf Chambriad. I'm not always in agreement with him, but I can see that he knows his business. And he keeps the village relatively safe.
It's not often you see an elf blending in with other cultures. Are there many of you here in Valvanor?
To my knowledge, I was the only one. That is until Prince Arundel and his acolyte arrived. Does that pose a problem for you?
Not at all.
Co?
Well, it does for me. His Majesty the Prince of Imbeciles is going to bring us nothing but trouble.
Takiego dubajskiego siurka.
What can you tell
A
me
nie, to
about
już
this?
było.
Oh, don't...
Do you know the woman who runs the healing house?
Oh, but of course. She's all one hears about lately. Everyone here will tell you that she's a courageous woman, fighting a noble battle.
A ja nie wiem.
Everyone but me. The woman's
Ktoś tam wygra.
insane.
Polska wygra.
There are already far too many mouths to feed in this camp. Clearly, she's fully aware of this, yet she stubbornly insists on making things worse.
And the Red Scribes? Know anything about them?
No,
Pewnie.
certainly. A boring bunch of fusspots, spreading science and preaching the good word while never suspecting that anyone might see through their little game.
Our game? Well, pray tell, give us the details. Please, give us the benefit of your extensive knowledge.
Podoba mi się
I
gierka,
don't
spoko
pretend
jest.
to know about all their little plots. I spend very little time with them, and frankly, I couldn't possibly care less about them.
Czy w sumie tak na razie to
I am fully aware that
taki
pretty speeches
początek.
serve no better purpose than manipulating minds.
Zobaczymy jak będzie dalej.
They're nothing more than noisy masks behind which hides a reality that is far uglier. The more the melody is sweet, the better it distracts you. And is there anything more disgustingly melodious than the discourse of a red scribe?
When it comes to disgusting discourse, you seem to be something of an expert.
Let's talk about something else.
Takie buty. Dobra, co ty tutaj masz w tym
What
swoim
you have
jarmarku?
for sale?
Gold. So vulgar to work with. So wonderful to own.
Nadziewacz. Ból. Drogie to ja pieniędzy nie mam. Coś słabo złoto tutaj leci w tej grze. Bida. Bida z nędzą. Już to kurwa kupiłem. Zresztą to nie jest jakiś taki rewelacyjny też. Dawaj tu pieniądzory. O, jest złoto. No, tak właśnie widzę, że coś słabo się zarabia. Tam to ja na razie nie chcę iść. Tam to pójdę na końcu. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Dzień dobry. Co to, cmentarz? Taki nie za duży. Siedziba naczelnika. Znaczy, aha, bo to jest jakaś poboczna, znaczy poboczne wejście jakieś do tej siedziby. Zobaczymy, co on tu w chałupie ma. O proszę, ogłuszacz. Zajebiście. Podobno jakiś miecz. Ale w sumie broń obuchowa to by dobra na szkielety chyba była.
Happily, the wildlife are just as keen on attacking the deadwalkers as they are the villagers. But the situation here in Valvanor grows worse daily. And each new wave of refugees increases the risk of drawing unwanted attention to this jungle.
No Ice Lord scouts who find this village will ever escape to tell the tale. Of that, I can assure you. Also, my men are reinforcing your defenses. Forgive me for saying, but you have some serious weak points. Especially the defenses around that refugee camp of yours.
The arrival of the Freeborn Blades and the Red Scribes has greatly improved our chances of survival, Captain. Believe me when I say that we are most grateful to have you with us. Needless to say, your men and the Red Scribes are welcome and free to go where they will. But as for any other newcomers, our gates are closed. You must understand that our food stores are as limited as our abilities to defend our village. Until you arrived, we had but one person who was even vaguely capable of treating our injured, and the case of Prince Orendil was completely beyond her skills. And there is this beast story, doubtless another fairy tale, the fruit of an alcohol-addled brain. Nonetheless, several of the watch have gone missing. Something hidden in these swamps is causing these disappearances, but we cannot risk sacrificing any more of the few men remaining to us on sending patrols. Large groups entail moving chrysalids that are unmanageable. The others quite simply do not return.
Silence.
If I were to listen to everyone, I would need 10 times the number of men I have to verify the truth of every tale.
Enough. You must aid me to do this. I am not able to do that. Your endless wailings are unbearable.
In the name of Vulcan?
But by the gods, man, what is...
This world is condemned. The cold hath invaded its ground, its souls, and its heart. Yet here you stand, weaving your limbs like fish taken from the water, miserably shuffling about to conserve the illusion of warmth and life, and not feel the passing of your last breath, while I must endure your wailings and lamentations. Pitiful.
Vulcan, stop this nonsense immediately.
It is not he who speaks.
All doth fall to ruin about you, yet you still bewail your loose bowels and vomitings. You cannot vanquish your dead walkers, no more than you can vanquish their necromancer masters. They draw their power from the very heart of the world. They drink it, they suckle it dry. Your only chance to cleanse what your own hath corrupted is to go to the world heart and liberate it from its servitude.
The world heart is a myth, a forgotten fairy tale, no more real than dragons or dwarves.
A myth. Continue hiding behind thy puny barricades, and thou wilt soon join thy myths and fairy tales.
Cease your pretense. I know you have returned to consciousness.
What the hell happened? I was just listening to the steward blabbing away with the captain, and then...
And then you lost control.
I don't know, it's like something in my head zapped me so it could use my mouth. But I was still there, still thinking what I was saying.
This is not the first time you have felt this presence manifest itself.
No. No, it's been there since the temple. It's also in my dreams. I think...
Interesting. It would seem that your body is host to some other entity. And it is clearly a spirit of fire.
No kidding. I got a demon in my head.
Something of the kind. In truth, I could not say what it is. Not yet, at least.
Don't make me laugh. After all, it's your disciples that let this thing out of its cage, right?
That has nothing to do with it. Do you have any idea of the implications of this incident?
What? Just because I said some weird shit? Believe me, it's not the first time that's happened.
Obviously, you haven't understood. The thing that is inside you, it wishes you ill. There is not enough space inside you for two souls. That demon wants your body. It will control you more and more until it has replaced you completely.
Ha! Thou thinkest I crave the body of a mortal? I am a prisoner here. My place is in the world heart.
It will not hesitate to lie to you, to tell you that which you wish to hear, so that you will allow it to consume you.
I never asked for this cage. I never asked to be forced to hear thy every thought. It is I who have been invaded.
It speaks to you. Do not listen to it. Cast it from you. If you do not resist, it will crush your soul.
Hey, take it easy. One day at a time, okay? I'm gonna take a walk.
I am busy, mercenary. Go do what you're getting paid for.
Mr. Vulcan, what brings you here?
The captain wants me to help your village. You got a job I can do?
With our shortages of food and fighting men, our worn-out equipment and the growing lines at the healing house, I cannot deny our village is sorely in need of help. Sadly, I fear that these are not the sort of problems you are used to dealing with, unless I'm much mistaken.
Maybe I'll surprise you. So what's the problem with the healing house?
Quite simply, Mirana cannot keep up. She spends every waking minute giving out supplies to the refugees and refuses to admit that she cannot help everyone. She thinks she's fooling me. I have heard rumors that her food stock is running low. Unsurprisingly, the crowds outside are becoming restless. I believe they wish to continue handing out our food reserves as though they were unlimited. This is not the case, and thus, it is not an option.
So, you want someone to put her down?
Why, I never suggested any such thing. I just wish she would see reason, for all our sakes. But I have asked nothing of you. I was merely answering your question.
Your guards... How can I put this? At first, I thought they were disobeying orders. Now I think maybe they don't even understand them. If you're stupid and incompetent, you should be digging turnips, not taking care of security.
You're beginning to worry me. Is it really that bad?
Are you kidding me? The state of their weapons is enough to make you cry. Maybe they'd be good for splitting logs.
Personally, I'm not capable of judging the aptitude of our sentries, but their poor results speak for themselves. Doubtless, you should share your observations with Mason, the chief of the watch. I should warn you, however, that he is of a somewhat stubborn nature.
Wouldn't be the first I've seen. I need the reports about this beast that attacked the villagers.
I fear I am unable to be of help. I'm still not entirely convinced that it even exists. All I know is that several villagers have vanished. One villager is at present in the doctor's care, following a supposed encounter with the said beast. These swamps are crawling with dangers. There is nothing to suggest anything out of the ordinary. The refugees are always inventing horror stories in an attempt to force us to open our gates and let them inside.
It might be worth checking it out. You said you lost one of your patrols, right?
That is so. You should speak with Randval. He was most anxious to go out and hunt the beast down, but we needed him here. Now that we have more able bodies to guard our gates, I imagine he would be keen to pick up the scent once more.
I've got a few questions I'd like to ask about this village.
I imagine there are few who are better placed than myself to answer them.
How come it's you that's running the show here?
What a question. Because, my friend, someone has to. You imagine I'm doing this for my amusement, perhaps? Doubtless you wish it was someone else. The chief of the watch has trouble organizing 3 peasants. Our dear apothecary is evidently keen to give succor to any and every poor soul who wanders into the healing house. And regardless of your reputation, the people of this village would never trust outsiders such as yourself, or even the Red Scribes. So yes, it is indeed I who command here. The one-time steward of the hunting lodge of Valvanor, now leader of this shithole.
Well, hell. Glad we got that cleared up. What can you tell me about the people of Valvanor?
Before the war, there were just a few families here. Hunters and craftsmen, mostly. These days, they survive as best they can, husbanding their animals and digging up the puny vegetables they've managed to grow. Few dare to venture outside the walls. These woods are fruitful, but more perilous than ever before, and most of these folk know nothing of arms.
But you've got your guards.
They hardly qualify as an armed militia. Of the few that remain, most are sturdy farmers whom we have entrusted with some kind of weapon. Most of the real fighters left the village as soon as war broke out. The others died while out on patrol. The only one left here with any real experience is Mason, the head of the guard. Sadly, the man is a walking beer keg, who could not give a dog's fart for what his men are about.
Who are all those refugees that you're keeping outside the walls?
The war with the Ice Lords has driven many from their homes and villages. Alas, it would seem that some of them found their way here. I have tried to accommodate as many as we can, and provide as much comfort as possible, but I fear we can do little more. We are reaching the end of our reserves, and relations between the refugees and the villagers are becoming strained.
The refugees can't all be dead weight. Some of them have got to be useful.
Oh, if only. Believe me, I would be the first to welcome them. These peasants have been fleeing from town to town and from camp to camp for months. The best and strongest of them perished in battles, somewhere along the way. I must deal with the leftovers. I put the biggest of them in the watch, but they are of little use.
The healing house. It's a pretty good thing for your village, huh?
If you say so. As time has gone by, the healing house has drawn refugees to the swamps in ever greater numbers, and dissuaded some malingerers from returning to their families. When it opened its doors a year ago, the sense of relief was palpable. It was run by a couple, an elf doctor and his apothecary wife, who clearly were no strangers to the healing arts. Thanks to them, we were spared many plagues. But as the war dragged on, the endless tide of refugees continued to flow through our gates until we could harbor no more. 6 months ago, our worst nightmares were fulfilled. Our elf doctor fell ill and died. Since then, Mirana has soldiered on without rest, alone. I do not know how much longer she can keep going. The refugees just keep on coming. And I fear that poor woman is beginning to crumble under the strain. It's not surprising.
I need a blacksmith. Do you have one here?
With none more qualified, I asked Asiel to take over the village forge. I suppose I should warn you, he's quite a tricky character. He has a huge ego and is stubborn as an ox. Before the war, he was a sort of artist. He crafted jewelry and sculptures from metal. Despite running the forge, one could hardly call him a blacksmith. But he's the only one here who had even the vaguest notion of how to repair a shovel or straighten a blade.
We'll talk again later.
The Order of the Freeborn Blades is of great repute, and the mercenary does honor to its name. The mercenary's powers are both astonishing and fascinating. The knight would like to duel with the mercenary, that he may judge the mercenary's strength.
Sure, I can never turn down a good fight. But maybe we should take it outside if we don't want to break everything in here.
The knight is honored, and bows to his adversary's wisdom.
Wait for me here, Sybil. I won't be long.
Knight hopes that his adversary will not hold back his blows.
Oh, you can count on it.
knight has never before battled an adversary with such power, and he believes that he could be that which is needed to change the course of this war.
You fight pretty good yourself. Where did you learn your moves? I can't believe you learned to fight like that in this backwater.
The knight has traveled far and fought many battles. He has only lived in this village for a short time.
What are you doing in the middle of these swamps when you could be making a difference on the battlefield?
The knight has fought a great many battles, but he feels he can be more useful protecting those who have nothing left.
I have to go. I'm glad we could test each other's mettle. It was fun.
Before his adversary rushes off to fight other battles, the knight has a question for him. He wishes to know if the freeborn blades would like him to join them.
I'm not the one who decides who joins the company, but I can ask the captain for you.
He has thought long on it and wishes it would be so.
Well, that's great. I'll ask him, but I can't promise you anything.
The knight heard talk of a troubling event that happened during the meeting between the mercenary and the steward.
Yeah, the short version is that I have a demon living inside of me.
A demon? The knight has never heard of such a creature. Should he be worried?
Don't worry about it. The thing inside of me allows me to control fire. Could be pretty useful against the dead walkers, huh?
Evidently. But is there not a risk that this creature will devour the mercenary?
A risk? Not yet. It needs me, and I have it under control. I'll leave you.
I am busy, mercenary.
Zaraz wracam za minutę. No, bo zaraz trzeba iść expić.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
A, to Sybilla. Co mi się pojebało, że
I need your
Priscilla.
help. Come with me.
If you want.
Ja zastanawiałem, gdzie ta Priscilla. Dychasz?
Vulcan, you must help me. The prince is dying.
Well, I'm happy to see that my talents as a doctor are finally being recognized.
There's no doubt an explosion would cure him of all his ills forever. But I was actually thinking about your connections with the Red Scribes. If you could speak to them, it would save me having the prince's death on my conscience.
I wouldn't exactly call myself a friend of theirs. But yeah, I can always give it a try. I'll leave you here. Do you have any idea how to wake the elf prince up?
Unfortunately, I don't. I think I've tried just about every remedy I know, but nothing works.
He looks pretty solid. Sleep will bring his strength back, and he may end up waking on his own.
Let's hope so. But to be honest, I'm worried about his condition.
I'm not going to sit here and do nothing while we wait to see if he's going to wake up or not. There has to be something we can do.
Well, there is a formula I haven't tried yet because it's very complex, and I'm missing a key ingredient.
What do you need?
A very virulent poison secreted by the chrysalid queen. But be careful you don't mix them up with the ones you usually see. I wanted to go looking for them myself, but the villagers stopped me. They say they're really dangerous. It seems they can be found along the road we took to get here. And apparently, they only come out at night.
I'll get you some. I'll be going now. Do you have... You said just about. I'm guessing that's not by chance?
It's true. There's one formula I haven't tried yet.
What is it?
A very virulent poison. I wanted to go looking for them myself. It seems that...
I'll get you some. Can I have a look at your stock?
Greetings.
I have some questions I'd like to ask you. Do you have any idea about what's happening to me?
I'm afraid I may not be able to help you. Your condition is more due to magic than medicine. Your symptoms remind me of certain mental illnesses, where the subject has the impression he hears voices in his head.
And do these nutcases throw fire and have eyes that burn from within too?
You'd be surprised at what they can do. But obviously you're not like them. That being the case, if you study them, you might find some answers. In particular, I'm thinking of the fact that most of these poor madmen end up giving free rein to the darkest side of their personalities. Make sure that doesn't happen to you.
I'll be going now.
Ja tu przyszedłem. Stąd? Stąd.
Mercenary?
I need your help. According to the villagers, there's a beast haunting the swamp, and it's attacked them several times.
I have heard about it, yes. And although I don't have any concrete information about the creature, there are some things that corroborate what they say. Even though we aren't very good at magic, we still feel it. And since we came to the swamp, we have all felt a powerful source nearby. The problem is that the source seems distorted, corrupted. Kind of like the one the Ice Lords use. Only not the same.
I hope for our sake you're right about that. Otherwise we're really up shit creek.
We are very certain of it. But this magic could very well have transformed one or more creatures in the swamp, making them more aggressive, bigger. Who knows? Something to frighten the villagers, in any case.
So you're telling me the thing is magic and corrupted. Brilliant. Just what I needed. Can I do something for you?
No, thank you. I don't need anything for the moment.
Tell me more about your order.
Before the war, our main objective in Creed was to collect and save all kinds of knowledge. We had a presence everywhere on the continent, and had chapters in every major city. We studied and preserved all possible sources of knowledge there. We also dispensed information and care. Because even though we're not the greatest magicians, our knowledge let us come to the aid of the wounded and the sick. I could of course relate our history in detail for hours and hours, but I doubt that is really what interests you.
With all the knowledge accumulated by your scribes, you must have learned something about the Ice Lords, surely.
We do indeed know some of their secrets, and a good part of their history.
Anything we could use to fight them?
We thought we'd found a chink in their powers that our ritual was supposed to let us exploit. But you saw the result.
That's one way of putting it.
That said, I'm beginning to wonder if we haven't involuntarily brought about the conditions for their end.
I'm not following you.
What you have within you could well turn out to be their doom. Even if I don't have the faintest idea of how or why. And unfortunately, as long as we don't know more about it, we also have to fear that it might lead to our doom, too.
I'll be going now.
Do którego miejsca to prowadzi ogólnie? No tak, tymi bocznymi tam szedłem. Dobra. Ja rozłożyłem na części. Chyba lepiej się na tym wychodzi, tak mi się wydaje. No jakieś nie są bardzo drogie. No w sumie jeszcze mógłbym teraz to rozłożyć. Co my tu jeszcze mamy do zwiedzania? No to wiem. To jawieniusz. Tu sprawdzałem, tak?
So, you have returned. What is...
Show me what you have.
Idziemy teraz tam może. Lekarstwo dla księcia. Mason na sal. To dobra. Szukam uchodźców. Widzę główny quest.
My goodness, let's see. You're not pissing blood, you're not vomiting your guts out. Both legs are in place and they seem to be holding you upright. Congratulations. It looks like you'll pull through. And now you'll excuse me, but I have other miracles to accomplish, and not much time to devote to people in your condition.
Take it easy there, Doc. I'm with the Freeborn Blades, not one of your refugees.
You could be Blackstorm himself for all I care. Now get out of my way, I have things to do. Haven't you anything
Hang on a sec. The steward himself sent me here to give you a hand.
Wonderful.
O,
I've been after him for
przechuje.
months to get me some help, and he sends me an armed ape. You practice medicine, I presume?
Z nieba
Your tools
spadli.
seem rather barbaric.
Listen, if you show me the recipes, I could probably help you cook up some remedies for these people.
Good idea, and it would be my pleasure to help you.
That's very kind of you. Unfortunately, what we are missing most are the ingredients. In fact, there is something that you could doubtless do for me. I'm worried about my assistant Haman. I haven't seen him for a while now, and I fear he might have gone into the swamps to look for the plants I need. We're forced to venture further and further in to find the plants we need. With all that's been going on lately, I forbade him from going back out alone, but the boy is nothing if not stubborn.
Stubborn? Yeah, I hate people like that.
Please find him. He's a good boy. He's done nothing but help others since he arrived. Without him, the House of Healing would be a house of death.
If I'm gonna be slogging through the swamps anyway, might as well take a look around and try to bring back the plants you need too, right? You got any drawings or descriptions?
Yes, that's a good idea. I would be grateful to you. But above all, try to bring back my assistant Haman in one piece. He is your priority. For the rest, basically, I need food, medicinal herbs, and of course, I wouldn't say no to a few pre-prepared potions. All of our stock seems to disappear so quickly. I'll give you the parchment that I made for Haman to help you recognize the specimens I need. He knows them by heart now, after so many trips.
Right. Plants, potions, chow, and one assistant. If I come across any elven tea, would you like a cup of that too?
That would be lovely.
Let's talk about your healing house. I found you a few health potions. Here, I hope these will help cover your needs for a little while.
They will prove very useful, I promise you. And thank you.
Where could I find some food for you?
Sadly, there isn't much choice. You have to go look for it in the swamps, unless you want to bargain for it with the steward. Perhaps he will be more generous with a mercenary than with a simple apothecary.
I'm still looking for your assistant.
Here? I seriously doubt that he's still here in the village. Please, I know that it's dangerous, but you'll have much better luck looking for him in the swamplands. Come back and see me when you've any news.
I'd like to see what you have to sell.
Vulcan, unless I miss my guess. What brings you here?
I'd like some information about the village and its inhabitants. So what do you think of the steward?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Too late if you ask me.
If I were you, I'd be wary of him. He is not as honorable as he would have you believe. Know that before the war, he was just a lackey, bowing and scraping before all the people of power that passed by. Due to a superior's mistake, he thinks he's in charge now. He's a latecomer, nothing but an opportunist, ready to do anything to keep his little piece of power. I've had the misfortune of experiencing his sense of priorities. When he no longer has a use for you, he lets you know you're not welcome.
I can't say I disagree with you there. This asshole treats everybody like his personal slaves.
For the moment, he treats you well because you serve his needs. This might not always be true, and then your lives will be threatened.
He'd go that far?
I didn't found the House of Healing alone. It was with my husband, Ron. He was not a great warrior, nor a renowned strategist. His only gift was for healing. He was my teacher before becoming my husband. The steward welcomed us with open arms. We took care of his men, his villagers. Then the refugees started arriving in greater numbers. Too many for Chambriad, who ended up closing the gates and pretending that these people simply didn't exist. Ron was furious. He tried to make him understand that he would heal everyone, no matter what. And if the self-proclaimed leader of the village wasn't capable of taking care of anyone other than himself, that he would do it. A few days later, I came back from the swamps to discover Ron in agony in the healing house. He had been poisoned.
You think this was the work of the steward?
Who else would have reason to kill him? Everyone loved him and counted on him. Chambriad thought that without him, the healing house would close and that the number of refugees would diminish naturally. Unfortunately for him, I will continue my husband's good work even unto my dying breath. He gave me an even greater reason to keep going.
This healing house is a waste of time and resources. These people are but dead weight.
Who are these refugees you're helping?
They are the outcasts of the war. Those who didn't have the privilege of dying in combat, or who lack knowledge of the arts of the forge. No one wants them. If I don't help them, nobody will.
You're doing the right thing. Taking care of them is good for everybody's morale. The ones who do the fighting want to know they aren't doing it for nothing, and that their people won't be abandoned while they're gone.
That is far from the only reason. But I'm very happy to hear you say it.
What did you do before the war?
Before the war? Please don't tell me you're naive enough to believe that this war only started 10 years ago.
That's what everybody says.
I come from Shorelin, a faraway land in the north that the Ice Lords probably wiped off the map some time ago. Because no one is left to write the history books, other than a fanatical cult more interested in arcane magic than in human science or medicine.
That's just not fair. The Red Scarves are interested in every kind of knowledge. Each has his own speciality, of course. But the war has simply imposed certain priorities. And what is more important, we are not a cult.
If you say so, young lady. The fact remains that the war is far more ancient than that. For as long as I can remember, I have always known war. I was only just learning to walk when Marshal Winters invaded my homeland.
I have heard of this Ice Lord. Winters the Bloodthirsty.
I wandered along the main roads for years, always heading further south, staying just ahead of the advancing Deadwalkers. First with my sister and a family of neighbors. Then just with my sister. Then all alone. Until the day I met the man who would become my husband. A remarkable elf, who taught me how to
Ten koleś obok niej wygląda, jakby się urwał z Wiedźmina. Ta czapeczka, te buty.
And ending up here in this isolated village so in need of healers, we decided to put down roots. Roan died 8 months ago, leaving me alone and in charge of the House of Healing that we had built together.
Have you heard any rumors about a beast wandering around in the marshes?
They are not rumors. There is something in these marshes, and I have a patient in a coma that confirms it.
Something? What does that mean? Where can I find it?
I don't know exactly what it is. The wounds don't resemble anything seen around here before. What you seek is large, powerful, and obviously has enormous claws at its disposal. The wounded man was found west of the swamps, crawling towards the village. If you really wish to fall upon that beast, that would be a good place to start. But bear in mind the possibility that it may be the beast which falls upon you.
I'll take my leave.
To raczej na pewno. Będzie chciała mnie zechlać. Granicowata bestia. Kupę robisz? Dobra.
Yeah, who are you? One of them fucking mercenaries, right?
Fucking mercenary, yeah. Sounds about right.
You know what I call your lot? Ore blades. I got no time for ores.
At least the whores work. If you got enough money to get trash while you're on watch, they pay you too much.
Go fuck yourself, Oreblade. Do I have to spill it out, or should I just put my boot in your arse? Clear off!
Would you just shut your stupid mouth for 2 seconds, please? The steward sent me here to help you.
Oh, that's all I need. Don't he think I got enough on my plate? Now he sends me some ore blade from God's nowhere. Hey, as long as it ain't me is paying for you, hey? You want to help? Knock yourself out. I warn you, there's plenty to do.
Get to the point before I set your breath on fire.
All right, take it easy. No need to get nasty, eh? You want to help? Yes or no?
Keep talking.
Well, for a start, you could try and find one of my patrols that's gone missing. At first, I thought maybe one of those half-wits was sleeping it off under a tree somewhere. But it's been a while now. Maybe something bad happened to him in the swamp.
I guess I could go back and check.
What a coincidence. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. After that, well, I suppose a pro like you, I guess you would be useful helping out the sentries. It won't be luxury. I don't know if you've seen what we're supposed to fight with, but, wow, if you can have a word with your quartermaster to see what he can do for my lads, you have my blessing.
The benediction of a drunk. Better and better.
It's what all us fucking mercenaries dream of. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Right, we may be living in the arsehole of Virgil, but being armed like a bunch of tramps we can do without. And while you're at it, when you've been to the forge, you'll probably feel like letting off steam a bit. Why don't you go and take it out on my lads?
What do you mean?
Kick their arses so they can't sit down and get drunk instead of patrolling. And show them a couple of tricks while you're at it. A bit of training. Couldn't do no harm.
Your men can't afford to keep their thumbs in their asses. It's time to teach them how to use those weapons.
Knock yourself out, petty blade. I'll go and shake them awake. Perfect. I couldn't have done better. I reckon the lesson is gonna leave a few marks this time. Have you got time to go again, while they're still warmed up?
I'll let them recover a little. I can't teach them if they're lame.
Oh there, Powder Man. You still didn't manage to blow yourself up?
Pretty quiet around here, huh?
Yeah. Too quiet for my taste. Do you really imagine the Deadwalkers are going to forget about this place just because this swamp is dangerous?
No, but it'll slow them down. Maybe we'll see them coming.
Ha! You can bet your ass they're already here. There's something in the air that stinks, and I don't mean the locals either. I feel like the Ice Lords are watching us. Right now.
Pretty quiet around here, huh?
Yeah. Too quiet for my taste. Do you really imagine the Deadwalkers are good?
No.
Ha! There's some...
I have a few questions for you. How are the Freeborn Blades holding up?
We left some blood on the stones in the temple, but most of the company got away all right. But if we don't get some new recruits soon, things are gonna get serious. The captain has sent some men ahead to Karalthas. I hope they manage to pick up a few recruits, and they're not too scabby.
Is there anybody in this village worth recruiting?
See for yourself. There isn't a single man amongst the guards or the refugees that knows which end of a sword you're supposed to hold. We'll just have to wait. And be careful.
So, you made it out of the temple then?
I did. I suppose my time's not up yet. I guess that'll cause more gossip amongst the youngsters. The eternal survivor. My balls. There are some days when I wish it would be over.
I tell you, you'll be the one that buries all of us. Do you think we can win against the Deadwalker army?
Against the Deadwalker army? No chance. Now, the Ice Lords, that's another question.
What do you mean?
Only that sometimes you have to try to chop off the head, you know? That bunch of walking corpses wouldn't be any trouble at all if there was no one to guide them.
I guess you're right, but I don't think that makes the task any simpler.
There was a time way back, you know, when there were so many of us in the company, several hundred, that the captain decided to delegate. So he chose 2 lieutenants. Those 2 assholes fought over how to share out the men for weeks. They both wanted to take the best men for their group. And the result? We had our asses handed to us by an army that was hardly more numerous than we were. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the Deadwalkers are just the same. You've got 7 bosses, and each one of them wants to control everything.
So if we were able to set them against each other...
Now you're thinking straight. I don't know how we could do it, but I'm sure that it's possible.
See you later.
Szeregowy wsiok. Szeregowy wsiok.
Hello.
You could at least answer when I ask you a question.
It's on account of that Nigella, ain't it? I take one look at her, and suddenly it's the end of the world.
To ja już się kręciłem, nie?
A good day to you, soldier. I do believe that today is your lucky day.
Really? What are you gonna try to sell me?
Sell?
Oh, now you're trying to make me feel bad. No, unfortunately I have nothing left to sell. Other than some first-hand information that will surely be of use to you.
Information? What information?
Hey, you know what? Some kind of reward would be appreciated. It's just that with the war, we have so little left.
Here, take this. What do you have?
Apparently, the Red Scribes have found a way to win the war. They found someone capable of breathing fire, who's gonna burn up the Ice Lords just by looking at them.
I don't believe it. You took my money for that? You fucking with me?
I swear, it's true. Please, we're starving.
I'll let it slide this time, but don't you ever try to rip me off again, unless you're tired of using your hands. Seeing as how you're pretty resourceful, I figure you know everybody here. Is there a smith somewhere around?
Yes, there is one. Me.
I should have guessed. Another con?
Not at all. Listen, I understand you might think I'm some kind of charlatan, but before being an outcast starving in the worst hole in the swamp, I was a blacksmith. The problem is that I don't have any forge or equipment. Otherwise, believe me, I wouldn't be out here begging just to survive.
Why not use the village forge?
I tried that, but that idiot, the so-called artist that works there, almost took my head off and started throwing everything that wasn't nailed down at me. No, what I really need to work right is my equipment. My forge cart.
And where is your cart?
At the other end of the swamp, unfortunately. Here, look. I'll show you on your map.
I'll get it back for you. You'll help me fix up the guards' equipment. Agreed?
Agreed. On one condition, of course. That you also get me some supplies. Let's see. There aren't that many guards, so about 10 pieces of raw metal, 10 good leather hides, and 10 pieces of refined metal should do the trick.
Well, I hope with all that, our guards will be well equipped.
Greetings, mercenary.
I wanted to ask you, have you ever met the steward?
He came to see the refugees several times, but I never spoke to him. I got the impression he couldn't stand us. He's the boss and we're the little people, see?
The life of a refugee can't be easy.
I've been a refugee for years. 5 to be exact. All these years on the road. And believe me, it's never easy. But this village is a pretty good place. The healing house gives us food most of the time, and we're safe. That's not bad.
How are things going with the guards?
Oh, we don't see them too much around here. They're basically here to guard the village. They don't give a shit about the refugees, so they keep their distance. And I hope for the steward's sake that he's not counting too much on them to keep him safe. I've seen lots of soldiers on the road, but as useless as them, never.
You ever hear about a beast that lives just outside the village?
Everybody's talking about it, so yeah, I've heard things. But there are animals everywhere out here. You can hear them howling and snarling all over the place during the night. But I do believe there is something bigger and meaner than the others. As far as what it is, though...
Will you be able to...
I'd love to. In fact, if I... The problem is that
Why not you...
I try... No.
And...
At the...
I'll get it...
Agree. Let's see.
Well...
Gods, these people are amateurs. This village is about as secure as your granny's underwear. Not a single watchman at his post. It's worse than I'd imagined.
I'll deal with this, Captain.
Good. I'm counting on you. Remember, if you screw this up, we'll all be joining the ranks of the Dead Walker army as soon as their scouts find this place.
Captain, just fought a duel with Ranvil, the guardian of the village. And before you start yelling about wasted energy, I want you to know that it was him that insisted on it. He's one hell of a fighter. He hits you like he was chopping down a tree, and he can take a blow and shake it off. He wants to join the Blades.
I have the feeling that every new recruit I take on these days is headed straight for the cemetery. But considering the losses we've suffered, I suppose I can't refuse. Bring him here to me. I'll check him out.
The villagers told me about a beast. I have to find its lair.
Hawk talked to me about that a while ago. He said he'd found some suspicious-looking tracks that led back to the northern swamps.
I'll go and follow the tracks. Where's Hawk?
No idea. I sent him off to scout that part of the swamp, but he hasn't reported back yet.
Captain, I wanted to ask... Do you really think we should be trusting these red scribes?
Vulcan, I'm not going to try and make this pretty. These are tough times. Thanks to this cursed war, our list of potential clients is shrinking faster than my dick when I jump into an ice bath. I get it, that after what happened in the temple, you'd like to send them all packing. This whole demon business is complicated. But we are mercenaries after all is said and done. We're not a charity. We're only as good as our clients. And you know, even if they did screw things up back there, they were right to try and find some way to beat the Ice Lords. What's the alternative? Lie down and wait to freeze?
Thanks to them, we all nearly bought it back at the temple. I'm not even convinced it was an accident.
You have a point. And since we don't want to finish up as a pile of bodies under a snowdrift, we're going to keep a sharp eye on them from now on.
Do you think the company is going to make it?
Of course. The Blades have always come through. They've existed for more than 2 centuries, and they won't give up now. Not during my watch. But to tell you the truth, we're not looking too fresh. Not with the losses we took back at the temple. And as for new recruits, it's been what? A year or more since we found anyone worthwhile.
Most of us were recruited when the war began, and there aren't many of us left. The only available recruits now are either cowards, deserters, or kids.
If we're gonna hold this village, we're going to have to do it using the locals, even though most of them look like they couldn't organize a party in a brewery. As soon as we've recovered a bit, we'll break camp and head for Carroll Pass. I already sent some of the blades ahead to see if they could find any new recruits. With a bit of luck, they'll come up with something better than one-armed, no-legged trolley rollers.
Why did we fall back to the swamp?
The Red Scribes knew of this place and said that we'd be safe here for a while. And apart from a few repulsive beasties creeping around outside the walls, it's actually quite peaceful. I don't think I'd buy a house here, though, would you? So we'll heal our wounded, try and learn what's happening to you, and then get the hell out of here.
You wanted the Freeborn Blades to help the villagers. Is that still happening?
As long as we have to stay here, yes. Why?
I'm leaving.
So, you have returned. What is your desire?
I'll be back.
That's an excellent idea.
There should be enough food. We'll see what Marana says when we get back to the healing house. The mercenary salutes you, Knight. I talked with the captain. He wants to see you. I'll leave you. The mercenary salutes you, Knight. I talked with the captain. He wants to see you. Come on, follow me. Here, I got those ingredients you wanted, and some things to eat as well.
This is very generous of you. I promise you this will save many lives.
What is the point? As useless as bandaging a corpse.
Perfect. Then I can begin passing all this out among the refugees. Here. This is to thank you for your efforts.
Thanks. You got everything you need, I think.
Thank you for your help. But don't fool yourself. With all of these refugees, I never have everything we need. If you ever have any extra food or ingredients, I'd be happy to buy them from you.
I'll keep that in mind. I'll take my leave. See you later.
Vulcan, I do love our little chats, but shouldn't you be doing something?
Captain, this is Ranvil. He talks funny, but he can kick ass.
So, it's Randval, is it?
That is the knight's name. How can he prove his valor to you?
Alrighty then. I'm glad you warned me that he talks a bit funny. Right then, laddie. All you have to do is fight a duel with me. And do your best.
It will be an honor to fight with a man who they say has never been beaten.
If you think you can flatter me into letting you off lightly, forget about it. Like I said, do your best.
The knight hopes that he will be the first to vanquish him. He will not hold back his blows.
That's more like it. Let's see what you've got, laddie. Not bad. Not bad at all. Welcome to the Freeborn Blades, my boy. We were starting to be seriously short of fighters worthy of the name, and you fight like a man. Though you're a ways off from beating me. Vulcan! He's your recruit. You can take care of him. Go on, away with you.
Welcome to the Freeborn Blades, friend. Don't take it so hard. The entry fight is a humiliation we all had to go through. Me included.
The captain deserves his post and his reputation. He is an exceptional warrior. The knight will be proud to serve under his orders. After such a combat, the knight will need to rest for a moment. He asks that his friend, and now brother, come to find him when he has need.
Okay. See you later. Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I need your help.
If you want.
Szeregowy wsiok.
My respects, General, sir.
Do I look like a general?
I don't know, General, sir.
If I'm asking you that, it probably means that I'm not.
Well, it could be a test to see if I'm being a good soldier, General, sir.
Then you flunked the test. You are crap at recognizing rank.
They never taught me that, General, sir. Plus, I don't see so good, General, sir.
Is there a boss guard to help you with that?
Yes, General, sir. He posted me here and said to deal with it, General, sir.
This village is condemned, and without a doubt it is better thus.
All right, we're not going to waste all day on this, and stop calling me General, sir. My name is Vulcan.
Understood, General Vulcan.
I suggest you roll with it. Congratulations on your promotion, General.
Yeah, thanks. Whatever. Forget about it, soldier. I would like you to give me some information about the village. What do you think of the boss guard?
General, sir, Boss Guard Mason, he is a good boss. He is, competent and,
Be honest, soldier. The one thing I hate is a liar.
It's just I don't want any trouble, General, sir.
You won't get any. I'm asking you this because I trust you. Nobody else will ever know.
Okay, General, sir. Because the thing is, well, Boss Guard Mason, I guess I don't think he is a very good boss, General, sir. He insults us all the time and never shows us how to do nothing. He spends all his time drinking like a chamber pot instead of doing his patrols.
Drinking like a chamber pot?
Please, I don't even want to know. Thanks for the information. It'll stay just between us. What do you think about the steward?
The steward? Well, I don't know much about him, General, sir. But before the war, when he took care of the hunting lodge, he used to come and buy vegetables from my grandparents. But they didn't like him much. He always spoke to them like he thought they was scum.
All these refugees, are they causing any trouble?
Well, it's true there is a lot of them, so that means a lot more work for us. Sometimes one of them will try to sneak in and steal some food, but we don't ever let them do that. Then again, we can't get too mad at them either. It's all because of the war. Those people are just like us, more or less, except that they've lost everything. And sometimes they help us too. A couple have even joined the guard when the boss thought they was good enough. Plus there's Renko. Well, he fixed up my granddad's spade. He's a real nice guy, that one.
I see. You stand in front of the swamps every day. You must know a lot about them, right?
Oh, not that much, General, sir. I never set foot out there. It's way too dangerous. Boss Mason posted me at this here gate, and that is just fine with me. There's lots of monsters out there. I can hear them, and that's enough for me. And even when there's no noise, we hear the whispering and well, that's even worse.
The whispering?
Yes, General, sir. Sounds like my own mama's voice sometimes. Except that she's been dead these past 5 years. Plus, I can't make out one word she's saying. And that don't make no sense. Mama and me always understood each other.
Huh. I see. Let's change the subject. See you later, soldier.
Szeregowy wsiok.
These creatures are just disgusting.
They look like giant, you know, things.
Yes, yes, I know what you're thinking, mercenary.
Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I'd like to ask...
What do you want to...
So then, any result from the study of all these creatures of the swamps?
I observed that the Rippers always hide inside objects, like a tree trunk, for example. They're quite slow and only attack from a very close distance. On the other hand, they can grab their prey and drag them towards themselves. Have you discovered any new creatures?
I destroyed some of the fungi, or parasite. They're like a round ball that doesn't move, but if you go too close to them, they release a poisonous cloud. It's better to attack them from a distance. Why aren't the chrysalids attacking?
Tym shiftem można, znaczy się pomocą shiftu.
Hey, time to wake up. Are you Heyman? Mirana's assistant?
Mirana.
You okay? Can you move?
Cold.
Man, you don't look so good. Come on, we'll go back to the village. Mirana will take care of you.
Tak, no jest sprint. Ale zapominam o nim.
Heyman! Oh, you found him. Thank you. But what have you done to him? Did you hit him?
He was like this when I found him in the swamps. He followed without complaint, but never said a word.
He must be in a state of shock. I'll take care of him. In any case, Heyman owes you much, as I do. All of these refugees are in your debt. Please, I would like you to have this. It belonged to my husband.
Hey, thanks. I'll put it to good use. I'll take my leave. See you later.
What can I do for you?
Let's talk about your healing house. You got everything you need, I think.
Thank you for your help. But don't fool yourself. With all of these refugees, I never have...
I'll keep that in mind. How's your assistant doing?
Alas, there's been no improvement. He's awake, but reacts to nothing. I have no idea what he could have seen to put him in such a state.
I'll take my leave. See you later.
O, tu się potworki nie poryspiły na bagnach? Nie widać nic. Dobra, idziemy po kuźnię. Przy okazji trzeba pozwiedzać to bagno trochę. Pozbierać jeszcze, co tu jest do zebrania. Tamtego zawieszonego odstawiłem. A to bardzo możliwe, no. Się zawiesił chłopu. Dobra, tam na razie nie idę. Będzie ten wąż pewnie. To ja przyjdę naokoło. Tak, muszę zejść do tego wozu. Tędy nie zejdę chyba. Nie. Gdzie jest tamto? Nie, zostaw mi kurwa expa. Wybało? Tamta się gdzieś znowu zawiesiła. Gdzie ona do chuja jest? Końcowy boss tej gry, mówisz? To będzie przejebane.
Hey, that's my cart, damn it! That's my cart!
It was a pain in the ass getting it here from the middle of the swamp, so I strongly suggest you fix the forge.
Don't worry about it. You won't regret it. I have to fix it and clean it up a bit, but there'll soon be a second forge in the village. Thanks.
Greetings, Vulcan.
Tak.
I found some of the supplies you need to improve the guard's equipment.
Excellent. I have everything I need. I'll finally be able to make some decent equipment.
I'll tell the guard leader. He'll be glad to hear
To jest
that.
przechuj. Jak puzian pociągnął. Wrócili do wioski.
Let me see what you've made this time.
Lewica. Dobijacz. No nieźle. Dobra, chuj, na razie nie będę kupował. Tu sobie pozbieram na tego kolosa. Jeszcze 2 poziomy. To na razie to zostawię, to dźwiganie na razie zostawię. To też będzie można zainwestować. No i tego kolosa. Na razie mi tego chapca starcza póki co. Może by w to trochę zainwestował. Jeszcze to będzie 40, to będzie 60 razem. Tutaj tak, póki co nic nie kupuję. No to by można było zrobić. O to nie, rzemieślnik. Później to jeszcze mistrz rzemiosła. Jaki tu jest level cap w ogóle w tej grze? Trzydzieści, 35, a to sporo. Koncentrację też by można było. Punkty mogły plus 10. To by mi było niepotrzebne, ale te 2 punkty by można było wsadzić w koncentrację. Prędkość ataku 30%. Później tu bym poszedł na tą furię. Albo najpierw może na furię bym poszedł. Będzie też dobre. Ale nie, mi chodzi o maksymalny poziom. Aha, ty wbijałeś 35, tak? No to 35 to i tak daje praktycznie wymaksowaną postać, no to nie będzie w co punktów wkładać nawet chyba już na tym poziomie, nie? Tak z tego co widzę. Co nie wiem, czy iść najpierw tą furię, czy dać sobie tą koncentrację. W sumie to szybkość ataku mnie interesuje, to by było niegłupie. Że pójdę w tą koncentrację, te 2 punkty chociaż. Była to szybkość ataku. No dobra. To jest koncentracja, jest... To się samo uruchamia, czy co? Koncentracja? Czekaj, ale no dobra. To koncentracja automatycznie się uruchamia? Bo ja tu nie widzę jej w skillach. No, pokazywałem ci przed chwilą. Oto. Prędkość ataku 30%. Te 2 punkty w to wsadziłem sobie. Wygląda na to, że to się uruchamia samo, bo nie ma tego jako takiego skilla, widzę. I chyba tak, to chyba jest automatycznie. Będzie bierna. Znaczy pasywka, no. Jak mi się wydaje. No tak jak te pasywki tutaj, nie? Czyli tam to też są pasywki o te. Odkrycie ataku. Generacja punktów magii to mi potrzebna. Tak, mam zabronię. Plus 5 sekund, ale to obrażenia od ognia dla wszystkich zaklęć 25%. By też miecz zwiększało obrażenia miecza. By można było dojść do tego momentu, ten 1 punkt chociaż dać w to. Ale na razie sobie wymaksuję tam do furii w tym drzewku. Później pójdę tutaj właśnie do tego obrażenia. Aha, i tutaj to podpalenie jeszcze, to też. Jeszcze no, bardziej są wrażliwi na ogień. Trafienia krytyczne automatycznie podpalają. To by też nie było głupie. No ale to... Chyba wszystko się nie da. Na razie za mało punktów, tak czy inaczej. Póki co nie będzie tak jak jest.
Tell your boys to go see the blacksmith. He'll repair their armor and weapons now.
Finally, some good news. Great job. That fucking asshole has been refusing to help me if I won't go scouring for his raw materials all over the swamp, as if I was his slave.
Yeah, the nerve of some people, right?
Take this for your trouble.
About those sentry guards. So where exactly did the patrol disappear?
Somewhere out in the swamp, to stop the chrysalids from regrouping too close to the village. But I specifically ordered them not to go too far.
I'll handle it. I'll go find them. Last time we looked at the difference between the hilt and the blade. Now it's time for the second lesson.
After last time's arse kicking, they'll drag their feet a bit, but I'll bring them back. Even so, they are making progress. If you whack them enough times, they remember how to defend themselves. Are you up for giving them one last lesson?
Maybe later on. If I'm not careful, I might break a few bones.
Look at this. My favorite.
About those... I hope your men have managed to...
I'll get them fired up and ready to put their hearts into it.
Tutaj z nimi, nie?
Nice job. Of course, they'll hate you for a while, but what they learned here today will save their lives one day.
My pleasure. I like this way of saving lives.
Znaczy go zostawię.
Look at this.
About those sentries. I'm going.
Patrz jak się tym toporem macha, tak z ciekawości. 50% mniej. Znaczy ten wolniejszy atak, ale z koncentracji mam 30% szybszy. Buga wykorzystałeś, a nie mechanikę gry. Robi się wieczorek. Trzeba będzie bestii tam później poszukać, tylko jeszcze jakiś jest kwestik do zrobienia, tam widziałem poboczny. Wymienieni strażnicy. Ta, na pewno. Dobra, popatrzmy co z tym toporkiem trochę. 12% nakryta. Jest powolny. Chociaż w sumie zobaczymy. Pułapki są dobre. Inaczej lepiej. Ten się już tu czai. A coś tam widziałem, jest, no. Tu mamy powrót do wioski, tam jest jeszcze ładnie strefa. Lekarstwo dla księcia. A, bo to się noc pojawiło, tak? Dobra, tylko sobie skoczyć po to. Bo to w nocy trzeba było ubić jakiegoś kutaska. Czy coś tam. No, co tutaj jest obok? Jestem po prawej. Nie, to królowa miała być. To mamy. Tam jeszcze.
Now I just have to take all this back to Sylvan.
No dobra. Mamy lekarstwo chyba. Czy tam coś na lekarstwo?
Greetings, mercenary. What can I do for you?
So are you getting on with the cure to wake up the prince?
Unfortunately, no. Without the poison I told you about, I can't make it.
I brought you some.
Excellent. Just give me some time to prepare the cure and administer it to him.
It doesn't seem to be working. I was wondering too, a cure made from poison? If it kills him, you know you'll get it too, right, Doc?
A lot you know. Lots of cures are made from poisons. But I have to admit that for the moment, he's not responding to the treatment.
Shit. All that for nothing. Well, we tried. I'll be going now. Relmar, you got a minute?
Yes?
I have a few questions. Elves are pretty rare. I haven't had the chance to talk to many. Can you tell me more about your people?
We are born in the trees, eat only seeds, and we spend all the livelong day singing.
I get the feeling you're fucking with me.
Perish the thought. Well, it's just that we aren't that different from you humans, despite what one hears. Our civilization is obviously a bit older, so we have had the time to learn from our mistakes. We don't really live in the same rhythm as you do. We move a little slower, and most of us are prone to having at least some respect for the past. This is the reason why we never destroy anything, that we prefer to build on top of things.
I've heard that you are immortal.
That joke has lived for 15 generations. I will never get tired of it. No, we're not immortal. We live long lives, though, much longer than you. We are resistant to poisons, rotten food, and toxic body odor, apparently. Unfortunately, these things do not make us immortal.
Don't elves ever make war?
That's an impression we like to give other people. The fact is, we do go to war, just never against each other. You must understand that, given our long lifetimes, battles are fairly futile. This may well be what has motivated the choices of our king concerning the Ice Lords. But we certainly know how to fight, and you'll see proof of that soon enough.
So it's the prince who gives the orders?
The word orders may not be the best one. We do not submit nor obey easily. Our kings are a reference, wise men who can point out the way. They tend to guide us rather than give us orders. But to answer your question, it is his father, the king, who is the leader of our people.
Who is the elf in the healing house? Is he really your prince?
He is Prince Arundel, the son of our king and heir to the elven crown. Therefore, yes, he is our king.
How the hell did he end up here?
Prince Arundel led a detachment of the elven army sent to harass the Deadwalkers. And when he reached Bastion, he fell into an ambush. I got wind of this trap, but by the time I arrived, it was too late. When I caught up to the prince, he was already wounded, and most of his soldiers were dead. Those who survived covered our retreat.
To here?
Yes. The route to Carolthas was too dangerous. I knew about this village and felt that it would be secure for at least a little while. As soon as he gets better, we shall leave for Carolthas. The remainder of the human and elven armies are gathering there. That is where the final stage of the war will be played out.
You seem different from the other elves I've met. Where are you from?
Really? I seem different. And yet I have such pointy ears. And if you really want to know, I actually come from one of the most ancient and noble houses that exists. I'm even linked to the royal family. But I can assure you that I am sufficiently far down the line of succession to be in no danger of being crowned. And my reputation is no help either.
As far as bad reputations go, every mercenary has got one, so we're used to it.
Let's just say that I got into enough trouble to eventually be considered a traitor to my people. When I got involved in the war, I disagreed with decisions made by the king. He thought that this war, like so many others, would not last. That the conquests won by the Ice Lords would melt away like all the human victories before them had. But I thought differently. Right from the start of hostilities, I began to requisition certain resources I felt necessary for those doing the fighting. More food, more weapons, better armor. When my people discovered what I'd done, I was declared an outlaw, and many saw me as a thief, which, in a manner of speaking, I guess I was.
What a bunch of cowards. If they had listened to you, we wouldn't be in this mess.
I've been telling myself that for years. But I do understand their point of view. It is flawed, but not entirely thoughtless. They have had some time to prepare their forces and to learn the strengths and weaknesses of the Deadwalker army. This knowledge might allow us to turn the tide of the war, even if it does seem too little too late at this point.
Do you know these swamps?
I've been in this area long enough to have explored a fair amount of it, actually. The region is rather inhospitable, which I suppose is a good thing under the present circumstances.
A good thing? You're out of your mind.
These swamps are a labyrinth. The Deadwalker scouts will never be autonomous enough to find their way to the village by themselves.
That means we should be fairly safe for the moment. At least until a general or an Ice Lord comes to town.
Except that recently, there has been a change in these swamplands. And I must admit that I no longer feel safe at all.
What do you mean?
Something is affecting the swamplands, corrupting the vegetation and the animals. And I have no idea what it is. But anything that grows or lives here could become a threat, so I strongly recommend that you watch where you put your feet.
Let's change the subject. I'll leave you here. Sybil, can I talk to you?
Yes?
I'd like to ask you if...
What do you want?
So then, any result from the study of all these creatures of the swamps?
Have you discovered any new creatures?
I destroyed some of the So then,
Have you
there are whip vines. I mean, I'm not very good at naming things and creatures, but that's how I describe what they do. When you go close to them, they whip out to strike you.
Tutaj coś przeoczyłem. Jakiegoś pana. Jakiś legionisty. Siemanko bezimienny, witam. Nie, chyba nie, bo był tutaj przed chwilą.
9.
What's your problem?
8. 7.
What do you want? Why are you counting?
6. 5.
Oh, okay, fine, I get it. You don't want us to go that way, is that it?
It is not a question of what I want. It is thou who should not want it. What is more, thou dost not want it. Thou art too slow-witted to see this.
You're wrong. I want to go that way. Something is calling me. It's you who's holding me back.
Because I occupy thy mind. Obviously not as much as I would like, but just enough to, from time to time, make thee listen to reason, and prevent any other beings from inserting themselves in here. It seems to me there are enough of us in here as it is. It is a thankless shell, but I do not feel disposed to sharing it with anything else that might be trying to insert itself.
It's hard to imagine anything worse than you.
Wise decision.
Better not insist in going there for now.
Piwo poszedł. Zaraz. Gdzie to ta ścieżka jest? No, tam była skrzynia, no bo to ja byłem po nim. Okej. W sumie to można powiedzieć, że broń chowa się shiftem. No. Tym co sprint jest, to on chowa tę broń. A Feniks kurwa 3 razy grę przechodził i nie wiedział. Pytam się go, jak się broń chowa. Nie chowa się. Sam chowa. Coś tu przeoczyłem. Dobra, ja uciekam. Dobranoc i do jutra, papa.